JB, sometimes over the last 10 years, we've learned that we have to just kind of deal with adversity on this show. I'm on the side of a road right now because we need to get this interview in. This is our 10-year anniversary we're recording this on, so it's appropriate that this is happening right now.
Really
but we wanted to focus in on... Yeah, it is. We wanted to focus on the Little Army-Navy game, or the debated name of the game between Coast Guard and Norwich this weekend. And go ahead, introduce our guests, and I will keep the cars in the background from bleeding into this thing.
All right. Well, he took over as the starting quarterback for the Coast Guard in 2017, and he is now the full-time starter and has led his team to a 3-1 start to the season. They won the mug, which I guess is the rivalry trophy in the Little Army-Navy game between Norwich and the Coast Guard. And so we'd like to welcome, actually for the first time ever, Frank, and this is hard to believe, in our Liberty League days, we did a lot of coverage for their rivals, the Merchant Marine. We're long overdue to have a member of the United States Coast Guard Academy, junior quarterback Ryan Jones, on the show. So welcome, Ryan. How you doing?
Thanks. Good. How are you guys?
Well, good. I mean, so what exactly is the mug? Is there is it like a coffee cup? Is this like a big trophy? You score the winning touchdown for your team. It's an amazing back and forth shootout to get this. What is the mug? Is it in the office somewhere? Is it in a trophy case? Tell us a little bit about this rivalry with Norwich.
It looks like a regular mug. It's a little bit older than that, obviously, but it's like made of some kind of heavy metal. It looks like it's probably poisonous. It's on a little wooden pedestal. It's kind of, it's not. Here it is, right here.
Okay. There we go. We got it.
Yeah, mug right there.
There it is. Good deal.
Got all the games on it. I think we're out of space, though. I don't know. They got a new plaque right there.
Okay. You guys aren't on it yet? They haven't engraved it yet for you guys?
Bears on there yet, though.
Well, it's going to read 38-35 there in the end for a win for the Bears. So Ryan, you're originally from a place called Puxatawney, which I believe there was a movie written about a few years back called Groundhog Day. And so, I mean, first off, I assume the movie actually was shot there, right? They didn't just call it Puxatawney, Pennsylvania, and then shoot it in somewhere in New Jersey. Is that the actual town with Bill Murray and everyone?
It was not shot in my hometown, believe it or not. I think it was shot in Chicago, actually, if I remember correctly. Unfortunately, but isn't a lot.
All right,
but yeah.
Don't worry. Legally Blonde, which is set in Harvard Law School, was actually shot in Palo Alto, California, from what I understand. So this happens all the time. JB, you used to live in LA. You should know this by now. That's not the way it works. Come on.
Yeah, I figured as much. But so Ryan, take us back a little bit to the game on Saturday. You guys are trading blows back and forth with the cadets. I mean, you guys have a couple of different industry rivals. I mean, obviously the Merchant Marine and the Secretary's Cup being the be all end all at the end of the season. But tell us a little bit about what this rivalry win means to the squad. And you guys started off 3-1 last year. But it's there's an opportunity here to even improve upon that next week against Catholic. What's sort of the feel in the locker room right now and sort of the pulse of the Bears, so to speak?
Yeah, I think that was probably the proudest moment as a team for us so far, definitely as long as I've been here. And just gauging the feeling on the sidelines that we got after that win, it was a pretty big moment for everybody.
Jones on the option keeper. Touchdown, Bears. Drink from the mug, Ryan Jones.
It helps that it was on Parents' Weekend. All of our mas and pops were there. Helps a lot. Makes it that much more of a proud moment for everybody. But I think it really just gets everybody amped up for the rest of the season. That's 2 comeback wins in a row for us. And I think that just gives everybody a lot more faith in each other, in me as the quarterback, which is something that I've been chasing after since I took the reins last year. Good team win all around.
Definitely. And so, Ryan, one of the things that I know from talking with Coach George in the off season is that you have a young team, but a team with a lot of talent. I believe your sophomore class, at least 10 of your teammates participated in some type of like special officer training in the off season that's either related to the Marines or Navy. Maybe you can re-educate me on what all that means. But it sounds like you got a lot of strong athletes and leaders on that team. And it does seem like, even though you guys have been down in a couple of these games, you have been able to rally around each other. Tell us a little bit about what some of this, military, service academy type training is a little different than, you'd say, sort of your average college kid.
Right. Yeah, so the big handicap for us is every summer classes end, and we go out to operational units, whether that's an air station where helicopters and C-130s are deployed in support of search and rescue operations, or Coast Guard cutters are out, doing their thing out on the water. So it's a big handicap for us because while a lot of the other colleges are in the weight room, pumping iron, studying the playbooks, out there slinging the rock around, we're on boats losing weight with no access to weight rooms, or we're doing real stuff out there. And it's a handicap for us just because one, we don't get to spend any time together as a team, but even more so, we don't get to spend a lot of time preparing for the season coming up. But it is a lot of fun to kind of get out there and see what we're going to spend the majority of our young adult lives doing. So it's a good time, but it's also it's tough on the football team.
Yeah.
Ryan, one of the things I'm noticing, though, is you quietly amassed in your win-loss record a 3-1 record, a 1-0 in NUMAC right now. 1-0 is also the NUMAC record right now for Merchant Marine Academy. They'll face MIT this Saturday. You have Catholic, and then Springfield, which is another 1-0 team in the league. Is there like this little feeling now that they've adjusted the game against Merchant Marine Academy possibly that game later on in the Veterans Day weekend realm could have a lot more on the line than just the normal military academy, service academy feel to it, that maybe one of these two teams could win the NUMAC title? Is that crossing the minds of the players at all at Coast Guard?
This year is the year for us. If we were going to do it, I think this is it. I think our offensive line is the strongest it's been in a long time. We've got some serious athleticism on the edges, and the big Middleton and the quick, shifty Justin Moffitt, all those guys really bring some firepower to our offense, and the defense is as old as it's been in a long time. I think that's definitely a possibility. We'll see what Merchant Marines really got this week when they face MIT, because MIT is notoriously a pretty strong program in the NUMAC. Always playoff contenders, so I think we'll really see what they're made of here and prepare accordingly.
Well, one of the things that I know from speaking with Coach George also is that in a way you have an extra coach that's a little unusual in the sense you took over when Ethan Goldkamp was injured last season, and you started basically the second half of the year. Now he's still on the team, but really as a sort of an assistant and helping you out as a quarterback, I'm sure. Tell us a little bit about that relationship you have with Ethan, and kind of the interplay that you see on game day, when he knows what it's like to be out there in the thick of it, but at the same time, he's trying to help you out and help the Bears win ball games.
Yeah, so Ethan's he's always been a huge mentor to me. He's a year ahead of me. We were in the same company my first year here, like it's the same grouping of cadets, I suppose, in layman's terms. But yeah, I took over after he went down. It was an emotional time for both of us. He was a good friend of mine, so you hate to see that happen to anybody. As excited as I was to be the guy, you never want to get that title under those circumstances. But he's been really great, helping me where he can, putting in his 2 cents when he thinks I should have done something differently, like any great coach would. He's a signal caller on game day. He's over there doing all the wacky hand signals that nobody understands. But more than that, he's just like, he's a coach, but he's still a player at the same time. Like, there's no boundary like there is between the players and the coach. It's just one of the guys until he has something productive to add to the conversation. And it always is productive. He's there for film. He gave up some vacation time to come back early and show up for camp with us. So he's a giver in that sense. Ethan does a lot for the program, and we really appreciate it.
The 12th man. Oh, that's great.
So, Ryan, this being our first interview with the Coast Guard guy, I have to ask you about your sports information director, who may be in the room still, I don't know, but Jason Southard, who we call Sully, does he indoctrinate all players to make sure they become Red Sox fans when they arrive at the school? Is that part of the training?
He hasn't brainwashed me yet, if that is on his curriculum, but I'm still a Pirates fan for now. At times.
Well,
I like the sound of the Red Sox call there. But looking ahead, Ryan, you've got a game against Catholic. You guys came up a little short against them last year. They're looking for their first win. This is an opportunity, for you guys in a way where you're playing the role as the favorites, so to speak, and they might be viewing themselves as the underdog. Going down to Washington, D.C., I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of alumni there. Have you experienced a game, in the D.C. area in recent years, other than obviously maybe with the Merchant Marine? But I mean, what's the difference between playing on the road with a NUMAC game, but playing on the road in Washington, where I'm sure there's a lot of Coast Guard and other Service Academy alumni there to cheer you guys on?
I'll tell you, I've never played a game in Washington, D.C. This will be my first time heading down there. I do know it's pretty notoriously hot down there, especially at noonish on a Saturday. But hopefully, no Florence rear their ugly heads. But I think it's going to be a real challenge for us. I think hopefully there will be some alumni that show up. I'm not sure about that. But the road isn't as much of a disadvantage for us as it is for other schools, I honestly feel like, especially when we have to make a long trip like down to D.C. Because a lot of times what happens for us at home is we spend all day Friday in class, and there's a lot of restrictions that we're put on in being a service academy. So just other things to do, a lot of things to take care of that don't even pertain to football, unfortunately. Whereas, we're probably leaving Friday morning this time, get a day off from classes, and for a couple of days, all we're going to be thinking about is football. And I think that is kind of an advantage for us in a way, because it's different than the norm for us. There's nothing else to worry about. Get on the bus, take a nap, and
yeah. Well, the good news is, Ryan, the forecast for Saturday looks like partly cloudy, high of 76, low of 61. So maybe we'll get around like 72 for kickoff. So that's kind of perfect fall football weather, if you ask me.
Well, Ryan, our tradition here will not change for the Coast Guard Academy. For any player guests that we have, we give shout-outs. We allow them for anybody you want to give the shout-out to, family, friends, fans, teammates, Jason, anybody out there that you might want to send a shout-out to. So as the truck goes by me right now, I'm going to shut up and let you give your shout-outs. Ryan Jones.
All right, got to give one to Mom and Dad. They got tickets to every home game. 7.5 hour drive for them, but definitely the biggest support system I've got. Dad picked me up off the ground after the win on Saturday, which is no easy task for a guy that's pushing 53, but he still got it. Also got to give a shout out to a girlfriend who makes the trip up every home game, has a press pass, takes some pictures of everybody on the sideline, tries not to take too many of me. And the extended fans that tune into the live broadcast every Saturday. Just really cool to see people following me even when it's not so easy to anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little bit too close to 53 to have a comment about that, but I respect it. When I'm in my 50s, my kids will be in college too, so I'll be right there with your dad. But Ryan, first and foremost, I mean, thank you so much for your service to the country, what you guys do and train to do to help the United States. and the seas abroad and all that is really something special. And it's one of the things that we really enjoy in covering Division III football, is getting to know some of the student athletes and people like you that are out there, putting country before self. And really just want to say thanks. We're going to enjoy, watching you play Catholic this Saturday. And we're trying to be impartial here, so we'll just say good luck to both teams. Looking forward to a good game with no injuries and all that. But thanks again for everything you do, and we'll look forward to talking to more Coast Guard Bears like yourself. Sounds like you got some good players in that offensive line and that wide receiver. So we'll keep tracking the Bears, and it's been a long time coming. But thank you for joining us today, and we'll look forward to seeing how the rest of the season goes for you guys there in New London.
And ditto. Thanks for having me, guys. I had a great time. Hopefully you can pull one of the teammates on sometime soon.